Twelfth Night, Chapter 1. Shipwreck. Viola straggled ashore, her dress soaking. All around were breaking waves and broken bits of wood, the remains of the ship she and her brother had been on. "Sebastian!" she called desperately, but her beloved twain did not answer. "He's not here," came a gruff voice. It was the ship's captain. "But I saw him clinging to the wreckage, so he may have survived." Viola blinked back her tears. "Where are we?" she asked. "Illyria," replied the captain. "Duke Orsino's country." "What can I do now?" wondered Viola. "Perhaps the Duke will give me a job, but he's more likely to hire a man. I know, I'll dress up as a boy and call myself Cesaro." With the captain's help, she was soon on her way. At his palace, Duke Orsino was listening to love songs and dreaming about Lady Olivia. He was hopelessly in love with her, but she had refused to see him since her brother the Count had died. "What a heart," thought the Duke, "to love a brother so much. Oh, if I could only make her love me. I need a messenger," he decided, "someone she won't refuse to see." Just then, Viola came in, dressed as Cesaro, and asked for a job. Orsino took one look at his friendly face and hired him on the spot. Orsino spent the next 3 days telling his new servant Cesaro all about Olivia and how much he loved her. Viola's heart melted as she listened. How could any woman refuse such a man? She wondered. "Now, Cesaro, will you go and see Olivia for me?" said the Duke at last. "She's bound to listen to you." Viola bit her lip and nodded. She thought her heart would break. In just 3 days, she had fallen in love with Orsino herself. Chapter 2. Fools and Lovers. Olivia's house was in uproar. Her uncle, Sir Toby, had been making merry all night with his friends, Sir Andrew and Fest the jester. "Olivia is very cross with you all," warned Maria the maid. "Look out! Here she comes with Malvolio, that snobby steward of hers." "Greetings, lady," said Fest. But Olivia was in no mood for her jester. "Take away the fool," she sighed. "Yes, take her away," cried Fest boldly, pointing at Olivia. "I said, take away the fool," snapped Olivia. "So did I," said Fest. "Let me explain. Why do you mourn, lady?" "For my brother's death, fool." "Is he in hell, lady?" "No, he's in heaven, fool." "The more fool you, to mourn for your brother being in heaven." Despite herself, Olivia smiled. Malvolio sniffed disapprovingly. There was a knock at the door, and Malvolio went to answer it. It was Viola, dressed as Cesaro. She bowed to Olivia. "Fair lady, Orsino's heart is like a book." Yes, I've read it," yawned Olivia. "He loves me." "With thunderous groans and sighs of fire," insisted Viola. "But I don't love him," Olivia interrupted, shrugging. "If I were Orsino, I wouldn't give up so easily," said Viola. "Why? What would you do?" Olivia asked. "I'd build a willow cabin at your gate and call upon you every day. I'd sing sad love songs all night and cry out your name. Oh, you'd have no rest until you pitied me." Olivia gazed dreamily at the messenger's pretty face. "Tell Orsino I cannot love him, and then come back, to tell me how he takes it." she added hastily. After Cesaro had left, Olivia couldn't stop thinking about him. Am I falling in love? She wondered. Viola, for her part, was worrying about Olivia. Poor lady, I think she's fallen for my disguise. Why, my master adores her, and I love him. What will become of this? Oh, time, you must untangle this. Not I. It's too hard a knot for me to untie. Back at Orsino's house, the talk was all about love. I've been in love too, Viola told the Duke. What was your loved one like? He asked. Viola blushed. Very like you, she blurted. Orsino laughed. If only Olivia shared your taste. But women don't feel things as strongly as us men. That's not true, said Viola hotly. My father's daughter loved a man, but couldn't tell him, and her feelings ate away at her, like a worm in the bud. The Duke listened thoughtfully. This boy really understands love, he told himself. If only I could find a girl like him. 12th Night, Chapter 3, Making Mischief. Later that night, Sir Toby and Sir Andrew were in a very jolly mood. They shouted for Maria to bring ale and Fest to play a song. Soon they were singing loudly and not very tunefully. Three merry men be we! Are you crazy? Came an angry voice. It was Malvolio in his nightgown. Do you know how late it is? You can't stop us, snorted Toby. Do you think because you are virtuous there shall be no more cakes and ale? I'll tell Lady Olivia about this, snarled Malvolio, stalking off. Toby shook a fist after him. Maria laid a hand on Toby's arm. I know how to pay Malvolio back. I'll fake a love letter from Olivia and let him find it. He's so vain, he'll think she's in love with him. The next morning, Maria, Toby and Fest hid behind a bush to watch Malvolio. Malvolio was thinking aloud. I know Olivia admires me, he muttered. If she married me, I'll be far richer than Toby. The rogue, spluttered Toby. But what's this? Went on Malvolio, spotting the letter. He began to read. To my beloved M. I'm in love. If you are reading this, don't be afraid. I may be your lady, but when we are married, you'll be my lord. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. So be proud and put on airs and graces, and don't forget to wear your yellow stockings and cross garters. You know I adore them. My lady! Exclaimed Malvolio, kissing the letter. I will! He was so excited he didn't hear the giggles coming from the bush. A loud rat-a-tat sounded on the front door. Hello, is anyone there? It was Viola. Cesaro, is that you? Olivia heard the voice and came running. Viola bowed. Dear lady, I come to tell you of Orsino's love. Stop! I don't want to hear about him. You see, I've realized I'm in love with you, Cesaro. Viola shook her head. I swear I'll never marry a woman. Think about it anyway, begged Olivia, and please come back soon. Chapter 4. Another Survivor. Down by the seashore, two men were talking. One was a young sailor named Antonio, and the other was the double of Cesaro. It was Viola's twin brother, Sebastian. I owe you my life, Sebastian was saying. If your ship hadn't found me. I'm glad to have helped you, replied Antonio, and I'd come with you now to see the town. but I must stay out of sight. My city is at war with Duke Orsino, and I'll be arrested if I'm found here." The sailor put out a jingling bag. "Here, take my purse in case you need money. You can give it back to me tonight at our inn." Sebastian hesitated, then accepted gratefully. "Until tonight," he called as he set off. Olivia was thinking sadly about Cesaro when Malvolio came in. "Sweet lady, hoo-hoo!" he simpered. He waggled a yellow-stockinged, cross-gartered leg at her. "Malvolio, what's the matter with you?" gasped Olivia. "Why, nothing," he answered. "These garters are a bit tight, but it doesn't matter if you like them." "This is very midsummer madness." Then he tried to kiss Olivia's hand. Olivia snatched it away and ran out of the room, straight into Maria, Toby, and Fest, who had been listening at the door. "Go and look after Malvolio," she told them. "He needs help." The three plotters nodded, doing their best to look serious. "We'll send for the doctor, and until he arrives, we'll lock Malvolio in a dark room," promised Toby, his eyes glinting. "For his own safety, of course." But one prank wasn't enough for Sir Toby. He and Fest were soon plotting another, a duel between Sir Andrew and Cesaro. "It should be quite a sight," chuckled Toby. "The two most timid men in Illyria." Toby went to find Cesaro. "Look out for Sir Andrew," he warned. "He wants to fight a duel with you. He's already killed 3 men." Viola turned pale. Fest, meanwhile, was talking to Sir Andrew. "Cesaro can't wait to fight you," said Fest. "He's very skillful with a sword." Sir Andrew trembled. Toby and Fest were pushing the reluctant fighters at each other when the sailor Antonio walked past. As soon as he saw Viola, he drew his sword and leaped to defend her. "If this young man has offended you, I'll answer for it." All the noise brought 2 officers running. They grabbed Antonio. "You are under arrest!" they shouted. Before he was led away, Antonio turned to Viola. "I'm sorry, my friend, but I'll need my purse back." "What purse?" said Viola. "I can lend you some money, but—" "You refuse, after all I've done for you!" cried Antonio. "What? I've never seen you before in my life!" exclaimed Viola. The officers dragged Antonio away, leaving Viola puzzling over his words. Could it mean, is Sebastian still alive? Oh, if it proved true, tempests are kind and salt waves full of love. 12th Night, Chapter 5. More mix-ups. Sebastian wasn't finding the town quite as he'd expected. Strangers kept acting as if they knew him. "So, your name isn't Cesaro?" laughed the jester. "No, and I'm not Fest. And this isn't my nose." "Look, here's a coin," said Sebastian at last. "Now, go away." But no sooner had 1 man left than 2 more appeared, Sir Toby and Sir Andrew. "Cesaro!" squealed Sir Andrew. "This for you!" and he ran at Sebastian, his fists flailing. Bewildered, Sebastian was forced to defend himself. "This for you! And there! And there!" he cried, beating Sir Andrew back. Then Toby joined the fight. "Are all the people mad?" "Stop!" Olivia was flying toward them. "Are you hurt?" she begged Sebastian, who shook his head wordlessly. "Toby, Andrew, out of my sight," she ordered. Then she held out her hand. "Dear Cesaro, let me take you home." Sebastian blinked in confusion. "Maybe I'm crazy," he thought. "Or maybe this is a dream." But Olivia was so beautiful and so determined to help. He decided it must be all right. "I'll come," he agreed. "If it be just a dream, still let me sleep." Since Olivia had stopped his fun, Sir Toby went to visit Malvolio. His old enemy was locked up in the cellar, and Fest was taunting him. "What? Ho!" Fest called out in a strange, gruff voice. "I'm Dr. Topaz, come to visit Malvolio, the lunatic." Toby stifled his laughter. "Dr. Topaz, I'm not a lunatic," pleaded Malvolio through the door. "I've been tricked and locked up here in darkness." "There's no darkness but ignorance," the doctor replied solemnly. "You had better stay there until you see the light." Then Fest began to sing in his own voice. "Hey, Robin! Jolly Robin!" "Fool!" cried Malvolio. "Is that you? Please bring me a pen and a paper so I can write to Olivia." Sir Toby sighed. "Maybe we should let him write," he told Fest. "I don't want to get into more trouble with Olivia." Back upstairs, alone in Olivia's rooms, Sebastian pinched himself. He could hardly believe it. Olivia was very beautiful and obviously a great lady, but they had only just met, and already she wanted to marry him. "What should I do?" wondered Sebastian. "I wish I could ask Antonio, but I can't find him anywhere." Now Olivia was coming back with a loving smile. "The priest is ready to marry us," she said softly. Sebastian looked into her shining eyes, drew a deep breath, and decided, "I'll do it. I'll follow this good man and go with you, and having sworn truths, ever will be true." Chapter 6. Happy Ever After. A few hours later, Ducosino and Viola were going to see Olivia. Outside her house, they bumped into officers leading Antonio. "That's the man who helped me when I was attacked," cried Viola. The Duke frowned. "I recognize him. He's an enemy of Illyria." He turned to Antonio. "What brings you here?" "That boy at your side," replied Antonio bitterly. "I rescued him from the sea and risked my life to help him. We came ashore yesterday and I lent him my purse. But as soon as I was arrested, he pretended not to know me." Orsino shook his head. "You're crazy," he said curtly. "This boy has been in my service since long before yesterday." "Dear Cesaro, I left for a moment and you wandered off," cried Olivia, dashing out of the house. She tried to fling her arms around Viola, who dodged behind Orsino. "I'm Orsino's servant, my lady, not yours. But you are my husband," Olivia wailed. "Your place is with me, not Orsino." Orsino's face darkened. "Husband?" he growled. "No, not me," pleaded Viola. "Don't be afraid," whispered Olivia. "The priest will vouch for us." "It's true," nodded the old priest. "When he came, they swore everlasting love and exchanged rings just 2 hours ago." The Duke looked horrified. "I thought you loved me, but you lied," he told his serving boy. "Go! I never want to see you again." "My lord, no!" gasped Viola. Before she could finish, there was a shriek and Sir Andrew appeared. "A doctor! Fetch a doctor! That maniac Cesaro has attacked Toby." "Eek! Here he is!" he stared. But, stammered Viola. Sebastian came running after Sir Andrew and knelt before Olivia. "Forgive me, love, for fighting your uncle," he said. "I was defending myself and he isn't badly hurt." Why are you staring at me like that?" "Two of them!" exclaimed the Duke, looking from twin to twin. "Most wonderful," sighed Olivia. "Sebastian, is that you?" cried Antonio. "Antonio!" Sebastian grinned at his friend. "I've been so worried." Antonio pointed at Viola. "So, who are you?" Only now did Sebastian turn and see the strangely familiar figure. He stared in wonder. "I never had a brother," he said slowly, "but I had a sister who was lost at sea." Viola smiled. "I had a brother who looked just like you. I thought he was lost too. If you were a woman, I'd say, 'Welcome, Viola.'" Viola put off her cap and let her curls tumble down. With a shout of joy, Sebastian hugged her. Then he turned to Olivia. "I may not be who you thought, but it seems to have worked out for the best." "Yes, definitely," laughed Olivia, taking his hand. Orsino turned to Viola. "You once told me you loved me." "Yes," breathed Viola. "For my part, I longed to find a girl like you, and now I have." "Viola, will you marry me?" "Oh, yes!" cried Viola, bursting with happiness as he clasped Orsino's hand. "Now you shall be your master's mistress." "A double wedding party," said Olivia happily. "We should start planning the celebrations. Malvolio can— Oh, but he's ill." Fest coughed. "Actually, he's much better, and, send you this." Olivia unfolded the paper Fest handed her. "Madam, you wrong me. I'm not crazy. I was only following your letter." Malvolio. "Bring him here at once," she said. Malvolio came, looking pale and angry. He waved the love letter. "Madam, why did you send me this?" "I never wrote that," said Olivia, startled. "That's not my writing, it's Maria's." "Don't blame Maria," put in Fest quickly. "Toby and I are just as much at fault. But we shouldn't let old quarrels spoil this happy hour. We had 3 weddings to celebrate, for Toby and Maria are getting married too." "Indeed, we should make peace," said the Duke. "And to prove it, I forgive Antonio. Now let's go and plan the celebrations." Talking excitedly, they all trooped into Olivia's house, until only Fest was left. When he was alone, he began to sing. "A great while ago the world began with a hey ho, the wind and the rain, but that's all one. Our play is done, and we'll strive to please you every day." Then, with a bow, he followed the others into the house.